Well, hello there, everyone. It is Friday, November 25th in the year 2022. How are you doing the day after Thanksgiving if you're an American? Did you eat too much yesterday? Who knows? Maybe you did, maybe you didn't. Did you take a walk last night or anytime yesterday? I took a long walk last night. Anyway, remember, one statement here. Take the path less traveled. And with that being said, I am Maskey Finance. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not a CPA. I'm not an attorney. So taking the path less traveled. What do I mean by that? Okay, I read an article today, and remember I talked yesterday about books, and I think that video I made yesterday, where I talked about one of the most important things in life, one of the most important things in life, is one of my less viewed videos of all time, except for some of my early ones. So shame on you, shame on you. So anyway, taking the path less traveled. I was reading an article as I was saying, and it was in Dental Success Today. Dental Success Today. Oh, wait a second, Maskey. You weren't a dentist, were you? No, I'm a retired cop. Didn't I say I read a lot? Yes, I read a lot. I get all kinds of stuff in to read. I get newsletters. Most stuff's emailed to me. Occasionally I get stuff in the mail. I get books, I get articles, I get newspapers, I get magazines, I get, stuff like this. But in it, there's an article by, guess who? I mentioned him yesterday. Dr. David Phelps, retired, DDS. He has started an organization called Freedom Founders. Freedom Founders. He wrote an article in here called The Path Less Traveled, How to Create Financial Freedom Without a Wall Street 401k. Okay, what does he mean by that? What does he mean by that? I'm going to cover a few things from this article. If you're a longtime viewer of my channel, you probably know a lot of this stuff, even if I haven't said it. If you don't know it, you should know it. If you're a new subscriber, welcome to my channel. You may know some of this stuff, but odds are, if you're brand new here and you never invest in real estate, you probably don't know this stuff. If you just found my channel today, and you're wondering, what am I talking about? I guarantee you I can almost guarantee that you do not know what I'm about to talk about, okay? So with that being said, the path less traveled. He talks about how he's never been a fan of tax-deferred vehicles such as traditional IRAs, 401ks, defined contribution plans, cash balance plans, okay? Traditional IRAs are still out there, Roth IRAs. When I was a young guy, 20-ish years old, you only had traditional IRA. Roth IRAs came about sometime after that. I don't remember when they came about, what year it was. But with traditional IRAs, you took a tax deduction. If you put, I think the max when I started was $2,000 a year. If you put $2,000 into your traditional IRA back then in 1990, that was a deduction. You deducted from your total income. So if you made $20,000, you now are taxed on $18,000. Okay? Something like that. But when you withdraw the money, you pay income tax on it. And I used to read a lot back then as well. I'd read Money Magazine and stuff like that. And they'd always talk about how most people, when they retire, are in a lower tax bracket. And I was kind of like, well, shoot, I'm already in the lowest tax bracket. How can I be even lower? And if I'm successful in growing my money, I might be in a higher tax bracket. So even though I get a tax deduction, I might pay more tax in the future. Plus, who knows what the tax rates will be today versus the future? We just don't know. Okay? So that's one of the disadvantages, is you don't know the tax rate in the future. Also, he terms it the lockbox. When you put money into any of these vehicles, IRAs, your 401ks, 457 plan, not 457 plan, that's the different monster there. But most of the ones that the average American might have, the money is basically locked up till you're 59 and a half years old, 59.5 years of age, okay? And what that means is if you take the money out early, you pay a 10% penalty. You get penalized. Wait a second. Isn't this your money? Why are you penalized? Do you think Wall Street had a say in how this law was written? Do you think Congress, when they wrote these laws, have their hand in Wall Street? What's going on there? Who's in charge of our money? We need to be in charge of our money. We need to be in charge of our money. Okay? Don't let Wall Street, don't let Congress be in charge of your money. Educate yourself. Educate yourself through my channel. Educate yourself through reading. Educate yourself. Now, with that being said, there are ways to get your money out earlier without being penalized. But you will pay tax on it for the most, if it was in a pre-tax type plan. You will pay tax on it, and your tax rate may be higher when you take it out versus before. Okay? Let's see what else. You got something that's called a stepped up cost basis. And I want to jump over to real estate real quick. If I amass a real estate portfolio and I pass away in the future, my heirs get this real estate. The way the laws are written right now, they get it at a stepped up cost basis. Say if I always did 1031s and I deferred taxes, or say I bought a house today and by the time I died, it quadrupled in value. If I was to sell it before I died, I might have to pay capital gains tax, right? Unless I did a 1031 exchange. But if I die, my heirs get it. They get it at the value of, at my time of death, when they get it. That's, if I bought it for $200,000, now it's worth $800,000. They get it at the value of $800,000. If they sold it that day, they don't owe a cent of tax. But if you have a 401k or something, or an IRA like that, and your heirs get it, they have to pay tax on anything they sell at whatever their tax rate is. And there's something, I'm not a CPA, but there's something else. When they first get it, I think they're required to sell it in a certain time period, and they're going to have to pay tax on it. So look into that if that's all you're investing in. Okay? Other tax benefits are lost, and they are depreciation, cost segregation, long-term capital exchange opportunities. What are they? That's stuff that you do with real estate. You can subtract depreciation. You can do cost segregation. You have long-term capital exchange such as a 1031. Okay. This article goes on to say, he talks about unfettered capital is better. Why? Unfettered. If you get access to it yourself, you can do things. If you have a traditional IRA or a 401k, that's pre-tax. Something you might want to think about doing if you don't want to pay that penalty and you no longer work. Well, say if the 401k, you got to leave your employer, I think, to do this. Oh, you have to look into it with your employer. If you have a traditional IRA, you can do this. You can convert it to a self-directed traditional IRA or convert it to a Roth. Conversion wasn't the right term. Traditional IRA, you can transfer it over to a self-directed traditional IRA. When it's self-directed, you're no longer investing in the market. You're no longer investing with Wall Street, with Congress. You can direct it yourself. You can buy real estate in a self-directed IRA. You can buy art. You can buy wine. You can loan the money out and get, at an interest rate to get the money back. You have options. You control it. Now, yes, your custodian is going to charge fees for certain things, but you control the money. When you invest with the market, you invest like so many Americans do with the S&P 500. You don't control that. And you can't touch it to 59.5. Scary. Scary. And by doing that, like the average American, when they do that, they just put their money, they're told when they get hired, it's mandatory you have a 401k. Save your money now and you'll get $1 million when you retire. You'll be rich. It doesn't work out like that. Most Americans are not rich when they retire. But also the other thing is when they do this, they don't learn how to manage their money. They just don't learn how to manage their money. So with that being said, he goes on to say, a small mindset shift changes everything. Because most people consider finances too difficult, too complex. All we know how to do is work a job. Nowadays, a lot of people don't even know how to work a job. But we know how to work a job, we know how to get a paycheck, and we've been told to put it in a 401k. That's not good. But we can make our money work for us. We can. I dare say, every working American who wants to do this can do it. If they want to, they can get a rental property. And when you get a rental property, those tax things I mentioned, this cost segregation, the depreciation, you can take advantage of all of those. There's other things you can take advantage of. you will pay less tax on that than you would if you're withdrawing money from your 401k in the future. You pay less tax on rental income. My tax return was 133 pages long for 2021. And that includes my state tax returns, and they're like 4 different states. But it was 133 pages long. And the amount of money I was taxed on for the amount of money I made was a lot smaller. A lot smaller. If I had made all that money just for my paycheck, my tax rate would have been a lot larger. Okay? Real estate, in my humble opinion, beats stocks and stock market investing hands down. Hands down. I know people in my mastermind group, Millennial Mike, who still put money into their IRAs and that sort of thing. And they buy the S&P 500 index fund. Why? Is it a way to diversify? How much wealth have you grown in the last 12 months in your any stock portfolio? Somebody out there might have made money, I know, but for the majority of folks, how much money have you made? When markets drop, I invested in stocks through the dot-com crash, the Great Recession, 2007 to 2009, various drops over the years, and I've seen markets drop 50%, 30%, 60%. If you're close to retirement and you had $1 million and it drops 50%, you're down to 500,000, you might not retire. But if you had $1 million and you put it into real estate, yes, your income may fluctuate because, like I experienced at times, you don't get all your rent in, you got to evict a tenant, but you're going to do better than you will with stocks. You can be 20 years old and buy a rental house and get positive cash flow from day one. You can start making money on day one. You can put the money in your pocket and go spend it if you want to. I don't recommend doing that, but you can. When you put your money into an S&P 500 in your IRA or your 401k, you can't touch it until you're 59 and a half years old. If you buy a rental house, not only can you touch it, you can save it up and buy a second. Get that money in, save it up, buy a third. Get that money in, do a cashback refinance, do this, do that. Next thing you know, you got 25, you got 50, you got 100. Next thing you know, you're 30, and you're making a couple $100,000 a year, and you're not working in a 9-to-5 job. Take the road less traveled, folks. Take the road less traveled. Break away from the 401k and the IRAs and such. Sure, if you're wealthy already, you want to just keep a little bit in there, that's fine. Or if you're like me, maybe I want to put some in dividend stocks because I know my return, I'm getting 4%, 5%, 6%, 8% in dividend stocks. So maybe I'll do that, okay? But there's better places to put my money if I so desire. And I know there's better places to put my money. So with that being said, there's a contractor working on my pool cage right now, rescreening the entire thing. He's here. So with that being said, Mazske signing out. Have a great day. See you.